In this video I'm going to be letting you see my new camera. Well, sort of camera. It's my new phone. iPhone 13. Join me. Roll titles. Hi YouTube, Brian James at Micro Four Thirds guy with you once again, and I bought myself a new phone, but it's a new camera as well, and that's the reason I actually bought it. Does anybody use these things for making telephone calls anymore? I sort of doubt they do. And oh, by the way, before I let you know, let's get on to this video properly, I'm back as I was last year. I got my missing tooth again. Don't ask, it's a long story, but you'll just have to take my slight change of voice as read. But I got myself a new phone, and I got it because the iPhone 8 that I used to have, well, let's say it didn't last very long when I was using it on my DJ Osmo 5 gimbal. In fact, the battery would go flat in minutes, and I decided it was time for an upgrade. Now, I know the iPhone 14 is out, but I didn't really want to go for that. I wanted to save a little bit of cash, so I've gone for this, which is the iPhone 13, not the Pro. This is the iPhone 13, the standard one. And I went for it because of a couple of things. First of all, it's got vastly superior photography capabilities to what the iPhone 8 had, which only had its single lens. This is the iPhone 13, which has got two lenses, a wide and an ultra-wide lens on it. If you get the iPhone 13 Pro or Pro Max, there's a third lens, which is a telephoto lens. So it gives you some real fantastic capabilities. Now, I've never compared this to other cameras, other camera phones. I don't know what the others do. I know a lot of people shoot with all sorts of Android phones and have some fantastic results. But the only thing I can base it on is this. And I've gone for Apple because, well, I've used Apple for a long time. I use iPads predominantly, and I do a lot of my video editing, including this video, on my iPad. And I find that it's nicely integrated for me. So let's just have a look at some of the features I've got on this. I haven't had a chance to really go to town on this. It's not what I use as a normal camera, but it has been really useful. Now, I've used this for a couple of things. Video function, I've used this when I was going around the architectural digs that I did a couple of short videos on, and I'll put some of that footage at the end of this video as well, so you can see what the video's been shot like on that. And I've also been doing some stills photography, just walking around Paphos in the last couple of days, just to let you see some of the way that it comes out. And I'm really impressed, especially with a super wide angle lens. I think it's great. Now I'm going to have a look down at some of the specs on the lens. On the wide angle, sorry, ultra wide angle lens on this, it is a 12 megapixel. They're all 12 megapixel sensors on the iPhone 13. It's the ultra wide is an f2.4. It's got 120 degrees field of view. The wide angle is a 12 megapixel. It's f1.6. And now, of course, these sensors are tiny, absolutely tiny. So you've got to put into the fact that the depth of field is adjusted by the fact of the sensor. So although it's an f1.6, it's compared to something like Micro Four Thirds camera or a full frame camera, your depth of field is considerably deeper than you get on those. In the same way as Micro Four Thirds is a less shallow depth of field than on full frame. But there's a few neat little features on this. There's a fantastic portrait mode, and I did play around with the portrait mode. It can be a little bit over the top actually what it does, but it does give a wonderful out of focus bokeh, and very easy to switch into just to use. As I say, the three lenses on this actually. You've got the wide, the ultra wide, and of course the front lens, which is for doing the selfies, and that's the one I tend to use if I'm doing anything point to camera myself, and again that's 12 megapixels. So let's have a look at some of the other bits and pieces on this phone. Very easy to use. It's got a panoramic view, and I'll just bring it into it. The good thing is when you swipe up, if you just swipe straight into it, go into your main screen, you can get straight into your camera on this one, which I couldn't do just by pressing and holding, and that takes me into the camera view. To switch to the wide and ultra wide, you just literally click on the front. There's a couple of little buttons, and if you had the telephoto, there's a third button on there. Underneath, you've got various modes, time lapse and slow-mo. Slow-mo will go up to 240 frames a second. So it's absolutely fantastic if you're doing slow motion stuff on this. A cinematic view, which allows a sort of rack focus effect. Something you've probably seen without even realizing on films and things like that. The normal video, normal photo. Portrait mode, as I say, allows you to get that wonderful bokeh shot. It will pick up on the face and then cut everything out into a shallow background. And again, you'll see some of these at the end. And a panoramic view, and that's a nicely automated panoramic view, the same we've had on these cameras for a while. The portrait view I was very impressed with because if you click onto the top of the screen there, you get all sorts of other things, and it gives you some various effects. We've got a natural light effect, studio light, contour light, stage light. That gives you a very, very low-key background. So by holding that up in front of a face, see if I can find myself on that. And if I'm doing this straight, I've never done this before. I'm doing this looking into my G100 screen to see myself on this screen, to hopefully, if I can reach it, press the button. There we are. And that, if I pulled up, gives a very low-key type of lighting effect. If I take this to the portrait, let's go back to this. This is fun. I've never tried doing this before. If I go back to portrait mode, and again, if I take this to natural light, and I hold myself up, I get something that you can see a little bit of background in. And I believe I can do it with the side button. So, and again, let's have a look at this. Yeah, you can see the autofocus. Of course, being a phone, an iPhone, it does give that sort of very tight face, that typical selfie look, which I dislike, but you'll be able to see that you can clearly see the background. If I take another one which isn't on portrait mode of the same shot, and I'll show you these two now. So this one is the this one's the non-portrait mode, just a normal selfie, and this one's a portrait mode, and you can see there very, very clearly that you've got the out of focus background. Now on this, I'm finding that I've got hours of use on this phone now, maybe because it's a brand new phone as opposed to the iPhone 8, which is a bit older, but it does seem to be very, very efficient. It's got a much newer processor than the older phone that I had, and that's noticeable in the way that it processes photos themselves. Very, very quick, very, very easy. I did do a panoramic one, which isn't going to show very well, of course, on a YouTube video, being just a 16:9 screen. But the panoramic view came out very, very well. It's incredibly easy to use. Literally just hold the phone up, put it into panorama mode, and press a button and just scan around and take the photograph. So overall, I'm very, very impressed with this. I've been super impressed with it on the gimbal. The small microphones that I use, the little plug-in microphones which go into the lightning connector, which I did a review of, and you'll see it up there, they work perfectly on this. But the built-in microphone itself is actually very, very good. So good that you'll see when I'm doing some of the walkings around the architectural dig, that you can hear nothing but me huffing and puffing and panting and wheezing as I'm trying to walk around the place. So it's actually a very, very good microphone in this. So if you have an iPhone 13, let me know in the comment below. Tell me how you get on with it. Tell me what you think of it. If you're thinking about going to a different sort of phone, let us know below. Again, as I say, I use iPhones because of the fact that they've suited me for a long time. But I believe that the competition in the camera stakes on mobile phones is incredible. So if you prefer something else, again, leave a comment below. I'm sure everybody else would like to read about your preferences and your findings on these. Apart from that though, give me a big thumbs up for this video. We're getting very close to 400 videos released. I think it's probably going to happen this week while I'm out here. So we're going to be very, very close to 400 videos being released. And give me a thumbs up for this. If you haven't subscribed, join the merry band. We're almost at 8,000 subscribers. And if you are one of my patrons, you'll see a list going up and down the screen. Well, they don't go up and down the screen, they just come on the screen, but I do my hands, my fingers up and down. If you're one of my fantastic patrons of the channel, thank you so much. If you're not a patron of the channel, please consider joining, because this video will have gone out to the patrons 2 weeks before you see it. So you're not going to see this on YouTube until the end of March, but the patrons will have seen it 2 weeks ago. So you get some of the videos very early and some personalised videos too. So thank you to all those patrons who are on, and details for the patron are just here. And also, if you'd like to support the channel and just give me a one-off payment to buy me a cup of coffee or help the running costs, again, there's a PayPal link just here, and I really appreciate all the support that I get from all of you to allow me to carry on doing these videos. So until the next time, this is Brian James, that toothless photographer, saying keep on taking your camera out, keep on having fun with your keep on having fun, keep on enjoying your photography. Speak soon. Bye bye.